Hello, my name is Sip Mendez, and welcome to Sip's Wood Chips. It's been a while since I've done a segmented bowl, and so I guess it's time to do another one. This time I'm going to use both walnut and cherry. This is the bowl I made, and it has a solid piece of cherry for the base, 4 layers of walnut, and 1 segmented layer of cherry for the top. This one I have not completely finished it. I went ahead and I used sanding sealer and sanded it, and then gave it only 1 coat of polyurethane, and that's just to get the colors, so you can see the colors of the bowl, the colors of the wood. I'm going to let it set for maybe a week or 2, and then I'll come back, resand it, get rid of any excess glue, and then do the final finish. Now, with any project, make sure you read, understand, and follow all the instructions that come with your power tools and equipment. Woodworking is fun, but it's also important to work safely. So here is the plan for my bowl. This is going to be the general shape of it, and it's roughly going to be about almost 6 inches in diameter, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, a little bit over 5 inches tall. The bottom base will be cherry, and the top band, which will be segmented, will also be cherry. The ones in between are going to be walnut. These 5 in here will all be walnut. And this is the basic picture of what one of the wedges will look like. It'll be 15 degrees on each side. The wall thickness in all of them, is, for convenience, is going to be about 1.25 inches. Okay. The outside length here, the circumference segment, are calculated for each band to make the different diameters. So here's the first segmented bowl I made, and I guess it's time to make another one. So this time I'm going to make one from cherry. It's going to have a cherry base, and it's going to have walnut segments for the rest of it, except for the top ring. Top ring will also be cherry. And so next I need to go ahead and start cutting the segments. My saw is set to cut 1 3/4 inches, and I can start on this end over here. First thing I have to do is square up. Well, actually, first thing I have to do is cut this to a 15-degree angle. Then I flip it over and I cut 1 wedge. And when I cut it, I need to keep the saw down until the blade stops. That way, when I lift the blade, as you saw, it won't catch it. I don't want it to catch it. Then I'll check the size up here, and that's pretty close to 1 3/4. So each time I cut, I flip it over, cut another piece. And that's how I'll cut the rest of it. So I need to cut a total of 12. Now I need to go ahead and glue it up, glue it together. And to do that, I need to take out 1 section, so I'll have some room. And I go ahead, get my glue ready. And then I'm using steel hose clamps. These are large ones that are used mostly for refrigeration for ductwork. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take that off, and I'm going to glue 1 side at a time. Okay, put it together, rub it around a little bit, make sure I get some squeeze out, ready with the next one. doing it on this plastic because it doesn't stick. And I have not sanded these nor anything. These are straight off the my miter saw. So first I'll press them down, make sure they're all as best as possible. Now I'll put the band in the center, try to move it up so it's not pressing down more than it should. It's right down the center of the segments. I'm going to tighten it up a little bit. It stays there. Okay. Once they start setting, you tack them down with a mallet. Set. Because later, once they set, then they're not going to move anymore. Try to get them as flat as I can. That means less sanding later. Go ahead and remove as much glue now because glue is a mess later on. And I'll go ahead and start on the walnut rings next. So I glued the cherry base for my bowl to a glue block separated by a piece of brown craft paper. And now I'm going to work on the other side and cut the dovetail to fit my chuck. So I'm ready to cut the dovetail into my plate here. And what I'm going to do is I need to cut it to 52 millimeters. The easiest way for me to do it is to spin it and make a small mark with one of the tips and then make another one until I get two that are in the same place here. So here's where 52 millimeters would be. 52 millimeters right there. And you only have to touch one side. And where that line is, that's 52 millimeters. So let me get my I need to get a parting tool. I usually sort it down with the parting tool. So I have my face shield on and my apron, and I'm gonna just make a small cut here. And I also need to start shaping the foot of my vessel. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing that. I'm just going to use a round nose. This will be the foot here. I leave this little part here so that if I reverse it, I'll know where the center is. That's all I need. And then cut my dovetail. So this is the dovetail for my jaws. This little part I can use to recenter it when I reverse it. This is going to be the foot. And then this little part I will eventually remove. To separate the disc from the glue block, all you need is a wide chisel. Wide chisels seem to work better. And just tap it with a mallet. It usually doesn't take very much force to do that. There it goes. See, it's separated. It separates on the paper. I'm going to reverse this anyhow, and I will skim this off. Slip that over. And basically leave it on there loosely and rotate it until it seats down tightly. And you really don't have to do this, but sometimes it helps to tighten it several times from using both holes. Okay. So the next thing I need to do is remove all of this brown paper and glue and surface this flat. And I'll just use a little round nose, spin it at about 1,000 RPMs. Still have some glue there. Must have a low spot. So have some glue there. Must have a low spot. I'm going to sand this with just a little wood block and some sandpaper. Try to get it flat as can be. This is the first ring I need to put on, and so this is cherry and this is walnut. I went ahead and sanded this on the belt sander. And it's gonna seat mostly on the inside of this, so I don't really have to worry too much about the glue on the outside edges, but I'll put that some there anyway. That's good. It's not a good idea to get glue on this side because then it'll stick to my... I'll put this on here. Make sure this is seated. Bring up the ram. Okay. Now on the back side, you can't see it from that angle, but I'm going to center it as best I can on the piece of cherry. The better it's centered, the better. Everybody. And then I'll lock down my tailstock and just apply slight pressure. I don't have to press on it too hard. So the first ring of my segmented bowl has been drying for about an hour. It's not too bad. It's good. So now I'm going to skim this off with a probably just a 3/4 inch round nose, and then I'll flatten it and we'll attach the next ring. So I'm going to spin this, and I'm going to use very light strokes on this. Okay, so this walnut is part of a dresser I found laying by the road, and it's from 1941, I believe. And so I'm going to skim this down some more. I still haven't gotten to this paint. I made this paddle out of a piece of plywood and a sheet of 100 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to use that to flatten and level this part here. And there's also a ring on the other side of 60 grit, in case I need to remove a lot of stuff. This is the first time I've used this. That seems to do a real good job on it. Okay, the next ring is ready to go on. I will just line this up and I will stagger the seams. So I'm going to do it like brickwork. This is the center of, this is a joint here, and that'll be between two joints of this one. And that way, I'll get make it a little stronger. I'm ready to put on the last ring. I decided to go only 4 layers of walnut, because it's going to get it too tall, too deep for me to hollow with my tools. This is the cherry ring, and so we'll put that one on. This one will require quite a bit of glue, because I'm not sure exactly how it lines up now. I tried it a while ago, but then I got distracted. I think I have plenty of glue on this side to moisten the other side. Do that. I'm going to put excessive amount of glue. It looks like I'm running a little short here. No, that's it. Probably just fine right there. That's going to fit like that. Put this one up there. Grab that one on a little bit. And I've got to center it. It seems to be pretty good there. Lock that down. Tighten the rim. It's squeezing out pretty good. Okay. And we'll let that dry. And I'll probably let it dry at least an hour, but looks like I'm going to let it dry overnight. So this is the last layer, and this is the cherry ring. Looks pretty good. Okay. I'll go ahead and round it off. Now, the same thing, this seam is good. Got a little gap in here, and I think that is from some of the pieces of walnut I had a little groove in them. And that groove's actually worked its way out to the edge. Got my bowl tool dress, and I'm going to try to do the inside a little bit here. Got my lathe turned outboard, so let's see. to be getting a lot of clatter in there. It's kind of unusual. Maybe I need to get closer to the edge. But I don't see any cracks or splintering. Oh, it's a little better. Okay. I'm getting a lot of vibration, and so I'm going to just continue to hollow it out. Well, this is going to take a while. Okay, with the inside pretty much done, I'm going to give the outside one more little scraping. And I'll just probably use the 3/4 round nose. So I'm mostly watching the top profile up there. I can see it much better than what I'm actually working on. I'm going to watch it change. So I'm going to start sanding it, and I'll do that offline. And I'll let that dry for at least 30 minutes. So here's my bowl. And not too bad on the inside. I sanded it all the way through from 100, 150, and 220. So I'm just going to give it a coat of wipe-on polyurethane and a little piece of cotton knit cloth. And I just want to give it a very thin coat just to bring out the grain. I don't really want to build up any kind of a real thick coat just yet. And last time I had a little bit of trouble with the glue, and so I'm only going to give it one coat of polyurethane, and then I'm going to let it set for a week or so and see if I need to resand it. And if it's okay a week from now, then I'll go ahead and start building up coats. But that gets rid of all the dust on it and lets you see the wood. And I'm going to rub it in as best I can. Once that's hardened and dried, we'll check the glue. See how that goes. Found that using real, genuine turpentine dissolves the polyurethane and keeps it from setting up. Because if I use paint thinner, the kerosene type or petroleum type, it just gels in the can. And the turpentine doesn't seem to do that. It seems to have one really bad spot. I don't know if you can see it in here. It's right about here. And there was a piece of walnut that had a seam where two pieces had been joined together, and seems to have crumbled apart a little bit. And we'll let that set up overnight. So here's my finished bowl. I think it turned out rather well. It's not completely finished. I'm going to go ahead and wait about a week or so and then sand out any glue that might actually swell up in the joints. So if you've enjoyed this video, click on like. If you're not a subscriber, click on subscribe. If you're not a member of YouTube, sign up for an account. It's quick, it's easy. And as always, your comments are always welcome. Take care.